Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to walk you through how to create a directory and a couple of files using the Git Bash interface. To access the Git Bash interface, you go to Start if you're on a window or Programs, look for the Git folder and click on the Git Bash. So this is the Git Bash interface. So to create a directory, when you want to create a directory, first of all, make sure you are in the right area for the directory to be created. I want my directory to be created on my desktop, so I need to change directory to my desktop. And to change directory, you type in cd space desktop, because I'm changing to the desktop. So you can change directory to wherever you want to create your folder or directory. So I've changed to my desktop. You can see it's highlighted desktop. So when I create my directory, it should pop up on my desktop. So to create a directory, the command you need is mkdir, which stands for make directory space, followed by the name of the directory. I'm just going to call it my app. You can call yours anything you like and press enter. It should create a folder on the desktop. So that's the folder. So I've created a directory called my app. So to create some files that will go inside this directory, let me just open the directory up. So if I wanted to create files that will go inside here, I will need to first of all change directory into this new directory I created. So I'll do cd space and I'll type in the name of the directory. It's called my app, and I press enter. So you can see it's showing yellow, so it indicates that I'm in the my app directory. So I'm going to create a couple of files. The first is going to be an index.html. And to create a file in the git bash command, you use the touch command. So you type in touch, T-O-U-C-H, space followed by the name of the file. So mine's going to be called index.html. And press enter, and that should drop inside the, it says the file is now inside this directory. I'm going to create another. This time it's going to be a JavaScript file. So I'll do touch space app.js. JS means JavaScript. If I press enter, it should create the file and drops it into that directory. So that's it for this lecture. In this lecture, we created a directory and also created a couple of files to go into that directory. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome. In this lecture, I'm going to walk you through how to create an empty Git repository. You can initialize any folder as a Git repository. So let's open up the Git Bash interface. I'll go to Start or Programs. I'll click on the Git folder and click Git Bash. So this is the interface for Git Bash. So before we can initialize a directory for Git, we need to make sure we're in the right directory. So the directory I want to initialize is this directory here called my app. So I need to make sure I'm inside that directory before I create an empty Git repository. So to do that, I'll do cd to change directory to desktop. I press enter, and then I change to the actual directory that I want to initialize Git in. Before you can use Git, you have to initialize it. So I'm going to initialize it inside this directory called my app. So I'm going to do cd my app. So I'm now in the right directory. This is where I want to create an empty Git repository. So to do that, you have to initialize it. So the command you use to create an empty Git repository, this command can also be used to reinitialize. If you've already got a Git repository, you can also reinitialize that with the same command. So you type in git, G-I-T, followed by space, and then init, I-N-I-T. Init basically stands for initialization. So if you press that, it should create a file, a initialized file inside this directory here. So let me click that open. It's a hidden file. So if your computer's got hidden files not activated, you will not see it. So you need to make sure that you can see hidden files. So let me press enter, and you can see that's the directory there. The dot means that it's a hidden file. So make sure that you've got hidden file unchecked on your computer. So it tells you here, initialize empty Git repository. So this is the repository. It says it's empty because it's not tracking any file changes yet. Before you can track changes, you need to add files to the repository for it to track. That's why it says the repository is empty. It also gives you a location to the path. It tells you this is where the repository is, which is actually this folder here. So if you can't see the .git, make sure you look at your hidden folder. If you're on a Windows machine, just right click on any folder, go properties, not properties actually. If you right click anywhere on the desktop, go personalize. I'm using Windows 7. So go to control panel. I'll go to the control panel and click on appearance and personalization, and underneath there's an option for folder option, and click on show hidden files and folders. So if you're on a Windows machine, this is where you would go and click on view, and make sure that you've got show hidden files and drive. Make sure that that is show hidden files and folder. Make sure it is checked. If you got it unchecked, it will not show it. So make sure you have it checked. Also, make sure you have this unchecked. Hide extensions for known file type. Make sure you have that unchecked. By having it unchecked, you can see the path and you can see the names of the files. For example, here I've got my file is saying app.js. You can tell here the type of file is a JavaScript file. It tells you here index, and it tells you this is an index document. So that's, if you uncheck that, you can see your file extensions. So once you have hidden files unchecked, you should be able to see the empty Git repository. Also, when you create a repository, you notice here it's got master next to it. Once you've got that creator initialized, it makes that the master branch. So any changes you make afterwards will be subsequent changes, but it makes this the master. So that's it for this lecture. In this lecture, we created an empty Git repository. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to walk you through how you can add files to the staging area in Git. So I've already created a Git repository. It's an empty repository, and this is when you initialize a Git repository, it creates an empty repository. So this is it's usually called a .git. So if I double click, you can see what's inside. You've got hooks, info, different things. You don't really need to know the ins and outs of these files. The key thing is just to know that the Git repository has been created. So what I'm going to do, when you create a Git repository and it's empty, it doesn't actually track any file. If you notice, I've got two files here in this directory. Git will be aware of those files, but it wouldn't do anything with it. It wouldn't track it. It wouldn't watch it unless you add it to a staging area. Until it is committed, it wouldn't do anything with those files. So to check the status of the file, we can just type in git space status and press enter. And so what it's telling us here is that yes, this is an initial commit when there are files inside the directory. It's saying here on this branch, which is the master branch, this is when you just create a repository, it's called the master. So it's telling you that on this branch there's been an initial commit. When you commit something, that the changes becomes permanent. So it's telling you that it's got untracked files. So it's got two files, which is correctly named, this and that, and they're in red because they are not tracked. When they change to green, once they've been committed, then Git tracks any changes you do to those files. It's also, Git is quite clever, it's also giving you a clue here, and it's saying that nothing is added to commit, but untracked files present. It's telling you to use git add. If you want to track these files, you need to use this command git add to track them. So let's add these files to the staging area. So to do that, you type in git space add followed by the name of the file. The first one will be, I'll do the app.js first. Do app.js and press enter. It will add that. And let's do the other one, which would be, we do git space add index dot HTML. Press enter. It doesn't give you any messages at all, but if you want to check the status, you just, again, we just type in git space status and press enter. If you notice, the color of the files has now changed from red to green. So both files are now showing as green in the staging area, which is telling us that there are two files waiting in the staging area to be committed. The files have to be committed before the Git can start tracking the changes and before others can use it. If you want to push this file out remotely, before you can do that, you must commit it. So any file that is showing as green in the staging area is trackable. That means Git is tracking them. You can also remove a file from the staging area. It's telling you here, this is a command you need to use if you want to remove a file from the staging area, if you don't want the file to be tracked. So for example, let me say I want to remove this app.js from the staging area. I don't want it to be tracked. All I need to do is type in the command git space rm -- cached followed by the name of the file. I'll say app.js and I'll press enter. So if I do a status again, if I do git space status, that file should be removed from the staging area. As you can see, I've only got one file in the staging area. It has removed the app.js from the staging area. So to add it back to the staging area, I just do git space add app.js, and that will put it back in the staging area. So if I do git status, it will go back. So now I've got two files in the staging area that are being tracked. So this concludes this lecture. In this lecture, we learned how to add files to the staging area for Git to track. So now Git knows that it's watching these files. It knows that there are 2 files in the staging area waiting to be committed. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to show you more ways to add files to the staging area. Before I show you the ways, I want to remove this couple of files here we have in the staging area. I want to remove them. So the command to remove them will be git -rm cached followed by the name of the file. app.js is one of them. Press enter, and to remove the other one, I go git space rm space -- cached followed by the name of the file, which is index.html. I press enter. Now if I do git status, it will tell me the status of the staging area. So that's it. There's not, it tells me there are 2 files, but they are not tracked. So another way to, for example, if I wanted to add, if I had several HTML files and I wanted to add all of them in one go, the way I would do that is git space add space asterisk dot html. So what that would mean is that it will add any files with the .html extension. So if I go to click on typing git status, it should show me the HTML file. You can see it's now added, because it only found one HTML file, it's added that to the staging area. So I'm going to remove that again by typing in git space rm space cached followed by the name of the file, which is index.html. Now I can check the status again. I type in git space status, so git space status, enter. It tells me there are 2 files, which are files inside this directory that are not tracked. If you've got loads and loads of files that you want to add to the staging area, the best way to do that, you type in git space add space dot, and this will add all the files in the directory. So if I press enter, now if I go to git status, it should have added all the files in this directory. You can see we've now got both files in the staging area. So what happens if I make a change to one of the files? So I'm going to open up my text editor. So I've got Sublime Text. I'm going to open that up, and I will open up the folder which is on my desktop. So I'll just pick up this full directory here called my app. I'll click on that, and I'm going to make a change to this file here, which is the index.html. I'm just going to type in hello. There's no markups or anything, so I just want to test something. And just save all. And if I go back into git status, if I type in git status, you can see here I've got modified because I've just made changes to this file. So it's telling me that these files I've got in the staging area that is watching, I have made changes to them. So anytime you make changes to a file, you need to add it back to the staging area. So what I need to do now, I need to go to do git space add, followed by the name of the file, which is index.html. I press enter. If I do git status again, you can see both files are green now. So anytime you make a change, you must add the file back to the staging area. So that's it for this lecture. In this lecture, I walked you through a couple of ways you can use to add files to the staging area. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to walk you through how to commit your files in the staging area. This is my Git bash and these are the files in my directory. So I'm going to type in the command git status so that I can see what's in the staging area or staging environment. All right, so it tells me here I've got 2 files to be committed. Which are these 2 files? Anything in green usually is files that are tracked and waiting to be committed. So once they're committed, then they become permanent and Git can keep track of them. All right, so to commit, you type in git space commit. Also, you can attach a message to the commit. So to do that, you do space -m and then in quotes, because it's a text, you have to enclose the text you want to go with it. So I'll just say my first commit. That's it, and then I press enter. Just move that cursor, press enter, and it tells you git commit, tells you this is the, because during the process of working with Git, you will be making several commits. So by commenting or by including a comment with your commit, it's easy to identify it. So it tells you this is the root commit, gives you, that's the name of the text I attached to it. It tells you 2 files changed, 15 insertions, tells you the node is created, it tells you what is created, app.js, index.html. So if I do a git status, there should be nothing in the staging area. So I'll do git status and then press enter. You can see now there's nothing. It tells you here git status on branch master, nothing to commit. The working 3 is clean, so there's nothing there to commit. So that's basically how you commit your changes to the Git repository. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.